to Coastal Living. We have Stefan Lewis here with your beach and surf report. And man, you have been on a journey.
Yeah. We just came back off the East Coast, a very historical surf event. We were up to 12-foot faces. So what that means is it was as big as your house.
Wow.
At least a one-story house.
I mean, I'll watch from the back.
Compared to the waves here in the Coastal Bend, it's not something you're typically used to.
No,
so how was your experience?
It was amazing, and we definitely saw some broken boards. So of course, you know, you have that situation, and you know, you chance death a little bit because you get held under, or the lip of the wave comes down and takes you under, and you're like, oh my gosh, am I gonna make it? So it was tough.
Well, you know, we keep a close eye on your social media, make sure you're okay, because you're so adventurous. So we have to watch him like he's our kid, right? You were celebrating your birthday. You started with BMXing. You went to go surf house-sized waves. Tell me about all that.
Well, we started out with a wonderful jam. One of our producers here, Russell, he invited me, and it was a childhood friend that was definitely an influencer, and we had a great turnout. Over, I would say, 100 kids. And it's amazing to see that BMX is alive and well here in our city. And we had the gracious time for Cole Park, but a lot of talent. So it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Very cool.
And then right into an airplane and then
And so tell us about that experience. You saved somebody's life? Is that what you were telling us before the show?
Being a USLA lifeguard, they teach us first responder, and then you advance to EMT. And so having that knowledge, we had a guy that was going into anaphylactic shock on the flight. So it was an emergency, and they made the call out loud, who on the plane has some experience. And so of course I'm like, no one gets up, so they do it again, and then I jumped up and we stabilized him. So I used all my knowledge, which I thank you God for letting me have that knowledge, and we got him stabilized. We didn't have to do an emergency landing like they were prepping for, and we made it to Fort Lauderdale. And it's so wonderful because I wasn't even supposed to be on that plane, and I told him, I said, by the grace of God, I'm here. And you know, so I felt, you know, okay, use me how you want.
Yeah, saving lives and spreading that great energy that you have. That's awesome.
Trying to.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, again, like I said, a lot of times we don't know why we're put in a place. I didn't imagine being on that surf trip. So it was definitely significant for me at that moment. And I was like, all right, I felt real, like, come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Right place at the right time. And I hope it's okay that I mentioned this, but I think it's funny because you talk about kindness and not judging people by their looks or by how they treat you, because they may be having a bad day. And this guy, after you saved his life, mentioned that he had kind of...
Right. So, of course, I try to get a little done up for the show, but when I'm moving around town, I have my hairs all puffed out and, you know, a beanie on. So he was like, when I saw you, I thought you were just a surf bum. And I go, well, you know,
surf bum to save your life.
There's more to these chapters than you think there. But it was wonderful, and we said a prayer with him. So he then called me doctor at the end.
Awesome.
So
I love it. So you went from BMXing on this coast to the other side of the Gulf of Mexico and Florida to surf those waves.
Right.
And I think we've got some photos of your experience out there. It looks like you had a really good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was the downfall of it. Obviously, this is like the size of your front door. But so the water was a little cold. We had to move up north 2 hours, but we were in South Florida at West Palm Beach. It was very warm. We weren't wearing wetsuits.
Oh, nice.
And of course, you know, Buell, you know, they always want me to put the suit on, so I really appreciate them giving me this. See, it's a skeleton suit.
I love it.
But anyway, so yeah, this was up towards Melbourne, and this was a wonderful Mr. Steve. He set it up for a photographer session there, and it's wonderful to be out there surfing on the East Coast and then come back home. Today there's waves, and they're actually really good. We have great wind conditions, so if you guys get out to Bob Hall or North Packery, you'll be getting some waves, but we're going to have a little bit of a downtrend this week, and we'll see a cold front roll through, and we'll see a little bit of waves.
It's going to feel nice, so it'll be nice and pleasant. It won't be too cold, but it'll, you know, we'll have a nice breeze out there.
Won't have to focus so much on the deodorant, huh?
Right.
always so humid.
Inside joke.
Anyways.
I love it. So you suggest going out and catching some waves for
I would say if you guys can get on it shortly after this, you're going to score, you know, especially at the end of the day. The outside temperature is wonderful. The water's not too frigid. You know, we live in Texas. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. So this is just an amazing day to get out there and enjoy the water.
I agree. The weather's been beautiful.
Well, when spring, summer comes back around, are you ready, girl?
I'm ready.
We're going to do it. We're going to catch a wave.
We are going to do that live.
In spring and summer. I'm not trying to get in no cold water. No, thank you.
Neither am I.
Well, Stefan, thank you for always joining us and sharing your adventures with us. I think a lot of us live vicariously through you and all the fun things that you do. And we do worry about you, though, so we got to watch your story and make sure you're okay.
Thank you.
But we know that you're in the right place at the right time. If you're saving lives on an airplane,
we try,
on the right track. Yeah.
I appreciate the platform, you know. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. We know our viewers do too, because they always write in about you, and they also like to write in about Captain John Little. I think we enjoy learning about the coast, the beach, the surf, the fishing. So let's get a lesson from Captain John Little on how to properly fillet a fish.
Hey everybody, Captain John Little here with Coastal Living Fishing Line. Today we're going to learn how to fillet speckled trout. This is the way that I fillet them. There's a lot of different ways, but this way works really good for me. Use a Danco knife and grab a hold of them. Put your finger in the eye and underneath the gill to hold on tight. And then you take that knife and you run straight down from the top to the bottom. Just a straight cut straight down. And then you're going to come to the belly and you're going to run all the way to the anal fin with a straight cut just like that. And remove that air bladder and all the guts and get them out of the way. As soon as you get that out of the way, then you can put that knife blade down onto the rib cage and the bones, and you'll feel them, and you run straight down the back, all the way down to the caudal fin here. As soon as you get to that, you can flip that meat over and do the same thing all the way down on the skin. As soon as you get to the end, you're gonna have a nice fillet with a couple of rib bones in there. Just take your knife blade, run it straight down, get rid of those ribs, just like so, and you have a nice fillet of meat. Do the same exact thing on the other side, and that's how you fillet a trout up, and you get a real nice dinner out of it. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Y'all tune in next Friday and we'll see you then.